Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is the first of a series of videos about how to install a Tesla style radio on my Tundra, power management bench test, some modifications, its configuration, and also some troubleshooting information based on some issues that I found during the installation. If you are new to my channel, remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos related to more modifications to my Tundra. If you like this content, please hit that like button below to support my channel. Okay, let's take a closer look to this unit. This is the power button. It is also a volume control. It also has a microphone and air conditioning fan control buttons. And this is a cover that can be removed during the installation to attach the bracket. And here are the hazard lights indicator. This is a push button. Here is the tune button. It also has a reset option here. And this is for the airflow, to change the airflow direction from the outside. And this is also for the air conditioning control from the auto. And this is also a cover. And this is just the passenger indicator. This is not a button. Okay, taking a closer look to the frame. To be honest, I didn't notice the texture in the frame when I purchased this unit online. So I didn't expect this. I thought it has a smooth surface, but the thing is that it looks really cool and I like it. In the rear side of this unit, you can find a GPS connector, the main connector, Wi-Fi antenna, radio antenna, and some other accessories connectors such as USB inputs, camera inputs, video inputs, and the auxiliary audio inputs. This unit comes with all harness necessary for the installation as a plug-and-play setup, but that's something that we will confirm during the installation. It has the USB cable harness that can be used to connect a microphone and a 3G USB compatible module. This unit also comes with a GPS antenna, but I prefer to use the factory antenna, but looking at the connector this unit has, I will need a converter to use the factory GPS antenna instead of this one. These are the brackets for the installation of this unit. Both are labeled to the corresponding side, right and left. This is the auxiliary video and audio input harness. And this is the camera input harness. I have the anytime backup camera system installed on my Tundra, so here is probably where I will be connecting the video input. This is a USB adapter. I'm gonna use this in order to keep the existing USB plug located in the bottom section of the center console. This harness has a lot of outputs for video and audio. This is a good thing to have, and also this is part of my plan B if the audio doesn't sound as I expected. The idea will be to use this harness to connect a separate audio amplifier. This is the main harness that has CAN bus. This unit has no instruction with it, but all connectors are labeled and also are very unique, so there is no way to connect any of these connectors in a wrong place. But let's wait until the installation just to confirm. I have seen some reviews saying that some of these units drain the battery when the car is off, and for that reason I did a test bench using a wire diagram I got from the seller to make sure this unit doesn't drain the battery when the truck is off. With this diagram and the main harness, I was able to identify the ignition, the battery, and the ground cables. So I hook up these three terminals to a power supply that I have to monitor the amps and also the power consumption on different phases. It is important to mention that the yellow cable has direct power from the battery all the time. This way, the unit keeps the necessary power so that when you turn on this unit for the second time, it doesn't take the same amount of time to boot. We refer to this as a fast boot capability. The first boot always takes longer to complete. For example, if you disconnect the battery of your car, then the first time you boot this unit is gonna take a little bit longer to boot. This is why the battery can be drained if the power management is not good. Okay, let's start with the test. Let me first turn the power supply on here. And now the power supply is on and the unit is connected to the power supply, but the accessory or the ignition cable is not connected yet. So for that reason the unit is still power off As you can see, there is no consumption at all here. The chart indicates that it's still not using any current. So now let's proceed and power up the unit by connecting the ignition cable to the terminal. Okay, now the unit will start for the first time. As you can see, the chart indicates that the current start to showing some consumption here. It's within 1 amp and 2 amps actually, and also in this corner here you can see exactly how much it is. It's actually 1.2, 1.3. Here you can see 1.2 current and around 13 to 14 watts of consumption so far. So the unit is power on. It as you can see here, when booting, the consumption is a little bit higher, so it's normal. So now this is the interesting part. I'm gonna turn the unit off here. This is like an idle mode, and let's see how many amps the unit uses in this mode. It downs to 0.74 amps. Here you can see the chart. Okay, so now if you touch the screen, let me see now. Yeah, it go up again to, let me see how much, 1.1 amp. So the interesting thing now is, at this point we can say that the truck is on, or the switch is in the accessory mode, because this cable is still connected. But the interesting thing is, when you disconnect this is when you don't want this unit to be pulling a lot of current, because that's gonna drain your battery. So that's the test that we're gonna do now. Let's remove this accessory or ignition key cable, so the unit's gonna be powered off, and let's see now how it is, the consumption. My expectation is that it should be go all the way down to 0, and that way I will be more comfortable with this unit. Okay, yeah, exactly. So now I know that this is not gonna drain my battery when this unit is off, or when the truck is off. So this is another test that this unit just passed. Well, this is the end of the first of a series of videos dedicated to the Tundra radio install. Please hit that like button below if you like this content, and remember to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my future videos. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Bye bye.